Joining us now is longtime Milwaukee developer Gary Grunau, here to talk about a property with a rich history transformed in the 1980s and is getting another major renovation. Welcome, Gary.
Good to be here, Mike.
Schlitz Park. Tell us about the exciting things happening on the north end of downtown.
Well, Mike, our family and the Sampson family got involved in Schlitz back in 1983. Not too many people remember, but Schlitz had taken a strike and they'd actually sold the brewery to Stroh's, who's also out of business now. And we purchased approximately the overall site, which is about 46 acres. And over a period of 10 years, between 83 and 93, created office space out of it. We created a school for MPS, 800 students in a middle school. Created the home also of United Way, created the home of Milwaukee Youth Arts Center. But now we're at a point that the place is about 18 years old, 20 years old, and we think we've got to do something else to bring it into the 21st century. So what we're going to do is we're going to invest $30 million, and we're going to create the office park of tomorrow today. We call it the best of all worlds. It's going to have all the features you'd have in the suburbs, plus the features of an urban location. We're going to look at sustainability in a big way. Those old buildings that were all completely redone are going to be made up to LEED certification, which is a standard that shows how sustainable they are and also how efficient they are, also from an energy standpoint. We're featuring things like biking to work. We're putting in a whole new system of bike racks and shelters tied into the bike paths of Milwaukee. We're also talking about walk to work. We're creating what's known as affordable housing in Schlitz Park, now 140 units of, it's also called workforce housing, where people who are administrative roles in our companies there can afford to live in nice apartments right on the river in downtown.
So it's a city within a city.
We create a neighborhood. That's exactly right, Mike. Our end of, let's say, downtown and up on the area, it's, I guess we describe as River North right now, has seen over $600 million worth of development since we got into Schlitz. And we want to continue that. We've got some open space in the park now, over 300,000 square feet. There's about 4,200 people working there now between Schlitz and Manpower and Time Warner. And we think we can create space for another 1,500 to 1,800 people to come to work. So it's exciting times at Schlitz again.
And that would double the number of people who, when Schlitz was at its height back in the 50s, used to work with 3,000. So I mean,
about 3,000. We'll get it up to close to 6,000 again.
Yeah, just one of the exciting things happening on that end of downtown, the north end.
Yep, and it's, as I said, we've got Manpower up there. Sure. You've got a lot of housing. You've got apartments. You've got condos. You've got restaurants. And you got the Milwaukee River. You got the Milwaukee Rowing Club, which is a hell of an asset for town, and a lot of activity happening.
Now, this would be Class B office space?
I would classify it B+.
B+, okay.
Somewhere between A and B, Mike. It's not going to compete probably for the tenants that are upstairs in the U.S. Bank Tower right now, but it's going to be service companies, call centers. We've got a big medical clinic in there now. Aurora's in there for 6,500,000 feet. We've got bank office buildings, etc. Processing type jobs. That's why we have a lot of employees. Our employee base also completely reflects the makeup of Milwaukee's community. Percentage of females, percentage of all different ethnic type backgrounds. So it's a good place. It's got a big impact. A lot of people in that part of town walk to work or bike to work right now, and you know, we've been there for 20 years. We just want to make it better.
Just giving it a facelift, so to speak.
Yep, giving another boost.
Can downtown absorb this addition of office space, or are you going to be looking, obviously, to recruit from the suburbs as well?
Well, there is quite a bit of activity right now in the leasing market, and, you know, we've gone through a period of 2 or 3 years where it's been kind of slow. But I just came from, in fact, a session this morning. Every week we go over who's out there and who's looking, and there's a lot of activity right now. But also, you know what happened to our city back in the 50s and 60s after the freeways were built? Companies moved out and moved out, but we're finding that the youth of today, the young employees, want to come back to the urban center. They don't want to be out on the fringe. They don't want to be 25 miles from downtown. They want to be where the action is, and that's why If you take a look at the downtown residential market over the last 7, 8 years, there's 5,000-6,000 more housing units than there were 6, 7 years ago, and people live in those, and people want to walk to work and be close to their jobs. So I think that the suburban market is also open to us to look at companies coming back into the city, Mike, along with some companies in the city now.
All right, Schlitz Park is our topic. We'll be back to wrap up our conversation with Gary Grunau in just a moment, right here on Eye to Eye. Welcome back. Developer Gary Grunau is our guest on Eye to Eye. It was the beer in the brown bottle that made Milwaukee famous back in the 50s and 60s. But the Schlitz office park complex renovation plan is going to include something green that I think is going to be really enticing to a lot of people.
Absolutely, Mike. We strongly believe in preserving our heritage and our history. So you're still going to know who was there. Schlitz was the largest brewery in the world at one time. We're going to tell that story. But in order to fulfill our commitment to green and sustainable, as I said, we're going to bike to work, walk to work. We put in electric charging stations for all electric cars, preferred parking for hybrid vehicles. That's the way we're going. We put up hybrid parking signs and they're full. We've got to order some more right now. People are moving in that direction. They're conscious of energy and sustainability. And we want to be on the cutting edge of fulfilling that commitment.
And very bicycle-friendly complex.
Bicycle-friendly, yes, sir. Tied into the bike paths. We got a map where you can get to Schlitz from any place in town on the bike path. And that's good. Year-round, by the way. People are biking in the middle of winter right now.
I do see that in my neighborhood. You know, the few neighbors who are taking the bike path to work no matter what. You got a shelter there. You've got plenty of racks. And
you got it.
Yeah, so it's really
And we got a bike tune-up every month for the people who work there, a free bike tune-up. We just had a beautiful bike race last week, and it was just a
And showering fitness facilities for those who bike as well.
You're right.
Very good. Gary Grunau, thank you for joining us on Eye to Eye, and we'll see you next week right here on CBS 58. Have a great Sunday, everyone.